Hello, everybody, and thank you for tuning in again to Small Town Johnstown, our local podcast where we talk about local businesses and events and different things going on. So I do have a guest with me today. So if you want to go ahead and introduce yourself and maybe talk a little bit about your business or however you want to start this off.
Okay. Thank you for having me on the show.
Of course.
I love podcasts, so I'm excited to be a part of this. My name is Donna Baxter Porcher, and I am originally from Johnstown, born and raised Prospect area first, and then I moved to Hornerstown, where this building is located at right now that we're sitting in. It's called Studio 404. And I'm not new at being an entrepreneur. I went to Pitt in Pittsburgh, and I stayed there. I loved Pittsburgh, and I made a nice home and a nice business there called Soul Pitt Media. So Soul Pitt is minority media. It promotes everything going on in the minority community in Western PA area. It started out as a hobby, sort of similar how you guys started small, and I'm telling you, it's going to grow. You stick with it, it's going to grow. Independent media is so needed, because there's not a lot of bias in there, and you don't have to answer to anyone. So
that's the best part.
Yes. So I started Soul Pitt as just a website because being from Johnstown and having a lot of people on campus, we didn't know where things were in the community, especially in the minority community. Like, where's the best soul food restaurants? Where are the churches at for the Black community? Where do you go for this? Where do you go for that here? So I kind of made this website gathering all this information. Back in the day when you used to go get the CD at Best Buy and download AOL, you're too young. You don't remember that.
I remember hearing about it.
Wait, she said I heard about it. Lord Jesus, I'm old. But anyway, yes, you go to Best Buy, you got the AOL CD, you logged online. I bought my domain name, The Soul Pit, for I think it was like $100. You get them things for like what, $7 now for
Probably.
a year. It was like $100 for a year back then. So I got the domain name and used Dreamweaver. You probably don't remember that.
Again, I've heard.
You've heard
Not
of
so
it.
experienced,
Okay,
but yes.
you've heard of it. Okay, so you heard of Dreamweaver, but I know you heard of WordPress. Okay, so that's the platform we use now. But I started in Dreamweaver, taught myself HTML. My story is like very detailed, but it all kind of all fits together.
Yeah.
So Soul Pitt came about on the website. Fast forward to 2010, because I started Soul Pitt online in like the 2000s early, and it was just underground for a while. Then it started to pick up. Then one of my friends talked me into doing print, which is crazy because I never really wanted to do print because I thought either print was dying or, it was just really difficult trying to get people to buy a magazine. And I made it small, like the size of Jet. Have you heard of Jet magazine?
I don't think so.
Okay, so it's a tiny little magazine.
I like it though. I like
Nicholas
it small.
is shaking his head. He's heard of Jet. Okay, so it's like a tiny.
He's older than me.
It's in the Black
okay.
community. It's it's used to see him at grocery stores. It was the year that Jet was closing, and I was kind of sad. And I said, you know what? I am going to do the magazine, and I'm going to make it small like Jet as a tribute to Jet. And so that's why it's little in size, as you can see, and it's free. That was very important to me. Giving back to the community, sharing stories, telling our own stories, and so that was important. And then the magazine came out, and then we have a podcast now too called the Soul Pitt Media Health and Business Report with Craig Dawson, and that's the quick
version of a long history.
Okay, so then you have the success with Soul Pitt.
Yeah.
Does really well. But in my heart, I've always had someone from Johnstown in here. Camille Taylor, she features Johnstown fashion stuff in here. Mercedes, Barnett writes, and Andrea Nash, she writes for Soul Pitt. And they are all Johnstown people, and they cover anything going on in this area, Harrisburg, stuff like that, which is really good because I always, since 2010, featured something from Johnstown in here because that's where I'm from.
Yeah, hometown.
So you do something a long time in another city and your heart is constantly saying you have to go back and do something there. So I didn't leave Pittsburgh, and I still have my parents' house here
Yeah.
So, and I'm a remote worker. So it kind of makes sense to like, I can do something here. It'll fit in my schedule, as busy as I am.
Yeah.
It'll fit. I'm going to make it fit. And I've always wanted to have a community space.
Mm-hmm.
And the building we're in used to be L&D Candies. A lot of your listeners probably remember this was a candy store. You couldn't really go past the counter, so you never knew what was all back in here.
That's a
I
big
had
space.
no idea. Yes, I had no idea it was this big. And it was on the market, and it was priced pretty high. But me, I'm the type of person like, I ain't even looking at it. I just want to see it.
Mm-hmm.
Saw it. Got it for an amazing price, lower than what it was for.
Mm-hmm.
And then we were able to use that extra money to really remodel it nice.
Mm-hmm.
And my dad, before he passed, me and him was across the street. He was like, I said, I want that building, Dad. And he said, you want the candy store? He said, what you gonna do with the candy store? You know what I mean? I was like, I would love to have a community space. And I thought it was gonna be really tiny, just a place for people to meet and gather and stuff like that, really tiny. But I had no idea it was this big. So everything just fell into place. You know how something's meant to be. My company went remote the day I bought it. They said, hey, we heard you bought a building in Johnstown, and you're going to turn it into community space. I was like, who told them? You know, because you're kind of nervous, like, who told my job this? They said, you know what? We have about 800 employees there at the time or whatever, so they had a lot of furniture that they needed to get rid of. They said, hey, come get your U-Haul, come here, pick out all the tables and chairs you need, and pick them up and use them for your space. You can have them.
Yeah, everything just kind of fell into place.
I was
and
like, you've got to be kidding me.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's
and me
perfect.
and my husband got this U-Haul. We're struggling. We're getting all this furniture in and different things and like cabinets and stuff that we use back in our storeroom. So everything just fell into place. Jen, when I tell you it was just ordained by God, it was. So, and it was a beautiful thing, and it's been booked nonstop. This is our first year actually open. In June was our first year. And it's been booked almost every weekend. So it's something I can do. I have people helping me like Camille, Jessica Clifford. She does photography. So she uses this as her studio. So I've learned to collaborate and partner with people.
Yeah, that's important.
Yes. So make it a win-win for everyone. So if they can help me out and I can help them out. And I do that with Jessica Clifford. And she has Jessica Lynn Portraits. So she uses her studio, and Camille books stuff here too. She does her fashion week things here. She does things with models here, casting calls. And another thing she does is she books a lot of our more clients that want handheld or they don't want to do any work. So they just want to show up to their event. They tell Camille what colors they want, this and that. They don't have to clean up. They just come in, the place is decorated fabulously, and then they just leave when their event is over. And that's a special package we do with Camille. So
so that was a question that I had, just kind of what kind of packages you offer, what events you hold here. And you said you're booked every weekend. You don't rent out on the weekdays for anything?
We do, but mostly everybody wants birthday
weekends,
parties.
yeah.
There's baby showers. We've had 2 weddings here. We've
Really?
had vow renewals. We've had ballroom dancing, yoga, author's book signing, business seminars with panels, tea parties, all kind of stuff.
That's fun.
Hot cocoa parties.
Yeah.
So with everything, we've even had an art gallery. We got the professional art railings installed so that we can hang heavy artwork and have a professional exhibit. And we did one. And the person that did all the work in here, by the way, it's absolutely beautiful, is SR&G Construction. And they're actually right around the corner.
Yeah.
And they really love working on the project because, you know, it was community-based. And they're in the community. So I think they're happy to see Hornerstown, you know.
Yeah, it looks really nice in here.
Revitalized a little bit. Thank you.
How long did it take to remodel everything?
Well, it was during COVID when we bought the building. So you got to think about the supply chain. Things were hard to get. It took like a long time just to get lights for things like that. But, you know, we weren't in a rush. And we had an apartment came with it. So the first thing we did, we got someone else to fix up the apartment enough to get somebody in there. And my cousin lives in there, and a young lady from Pittsburgh who moved in here. She moved to Johnstown, and she lives upstairs. So, yeah. So we worked on the apartment first because we knew if we can get some revenue in, that would help us while over the whole course of them remodeling it during COVID. I knew it was going to take some time. So that was the main thing we did first. And then I said it took about a year. I said it took about a year to get done. But it came out really great. So.
And you said you opened or started booking events in June of 2023?
23.
23,
yes.
Okay.
Yes, that was our grand opening.
Okay.
And the one thing we did do is we joined the chamber here.
Okay.
And it really helped us. I think the you have to work it. You have to send out press releases yourself and tell people what you're doing and about your ribbon cutting and stuff like that. But to have the officials here. And
it's a big deal.
Yeah, it made a difference. It helped us meet some people that might be able to help us in the future. We have to get a parking lot paved. That's, we tried
it's a
to
big
do
expense.
Yeah, that's a big expense. So we already put our money into this, our own money. And we didn't have grants. We didn't have, stuff like that. So we did use our own money. We did get an awning grant from downtown. So, facade grant, if you want to call it that. And that helped get our awnings, the black and white awnings we have out there, and helped us get some new doors to front doors. So they do have a few things available, but I wish I could find a parking lot paving grant. Anybody listening, we really need our parking lot paved. So it's a nice parking lot. It holds about 15 cars. And it just has a lot of, holes and things like that. But yeah, that's phase two.
It's Johnstown. Everywhere's got the potholes, and some places don't even have parking lots. So if you get that, you're already a few steps above a lot of other businesses.
And then we have a backyard space, and that would be phase 3 for me. Oh, that would be a dream to have it where they can just go out back, and it's in a privacy area and have a nice outdoor event area. So.
Outdoor events are super nice, especially with like the little lights you got going on. If you could have that outside, that'd be so nice.
Yes.
So what would you say your favorite event that you've held here was?
Oh, there's been a lot.
Anything stand out in particular?
We did our own event.
Okay.
I know I'm biased because it was ours, but it was one of my favorite. It was a Christian comedian.
Okay.
Cassandra Morgan came.
Okay.
And we also introduced the community to the new black doctor in Wimber. She's a surgeon, breast surgeon. And it was amazing. It was packed, and it was the first time having like a live show, versus like having a band. So that was fun. And there was a party that the Johnstown Women of Influence had here, and it was a hot cocoa party. That was so much fun. Can you imagine tables with chocolate? They had chocolate spoons, child. Jenny, chocolate spoons. Girl, you dip them in your hot chocolate, and it's dark chocolate spoon. Girl, and you anyway.
That sounds like my kind of party.
They plan to have that again, so I'm kind of excited about that.
That's awesome.
And we've had things where the the Good Times ice cream truck.
Yeah,
I've been here plenty of times on our parking lot. They'll actually be here in a few weeks doing a back-to-school supply drive with the Johnstown Women of Influence. So that's going to be cool, too. And then we had branding and building your business like a boss. And that's where I had a lot of the entrepreneurs I really respect in the community be on a panel and have people come in and ask them about, how you built your brand, how you built your business. And Maurice Reed from Grind, Hard LLC, so he was on the panel, and a couple other people, Camille and other people. So that was a really nice event because that was a personal event to me because I'm all about helping entrepreneurs just like you.
Yeah. Well, thank you. We do appreciate you coming here and doing this with us. I don't want to be this person, but is there any event that you have denied or an event that you refuse to hold here? Are you kind of open to whatever?
Well, I can't say I refuse to hold because you never know until after you have the event. You be like, write this down. We ain't never doing that again.
Yeah. Sometimes you gotta experience it.
That BYOB crowd, it's cool when you're mature.
Yeah.
And you can handle that.
Yeah.
I've learned that it has to be an age limit to the BYOB.
You think so?
Because, yes, if they're in their 20s.
30s and up.
Yeah, it has to be like 30, 35, 40 up. So, maybe 50. But there's sometimes the young bucks just don't know how to hold their liquor. And we had the police here.
Oh
And
my.
I do not want that type of establishment. I do not want to be known as a nuisance place because, as you see, we are in the community.
Yeah.
And what was important to me when we first started doing this, people were like, what are you making here? What's going to be neighbors next door? What is this going to be? And I assured them, this is not going to be a place that's going to disturb your peace. It's going to add to the community.
Yeah.
And it's something, a piece of property that's at blight for so long. And we're going to help revitalize the community. So I went around the neighbors and let them know. I invited them here, invited them to the grand opening. If you ever got a problem with people that are coming to my establishment, let me know. So that was like the first thing I did, because I don't want to be known as a place that's going to disturb your peace. So I want to be a place in the community that people love, and the community that lives here can use it, and they're proud of it too. So.
Because they have to live by it and
Yeah,
deal with
exactly.
the noise and the crazy
Actually, we're
20
pretty
somethings.
soundproof. We're pretty soundproof.
That's nice.
We can crank up the music and stuff a lot in here. And I have been outside standing around just to see how loud it can get, but it's pretty soundproof.
That's good. So what community events do you have coming up in the future, maybe within the next month or even next year if you have anything?
We have partnered with some people from Pittsburgh since I've been there all that time, and I've featured a lot of musicians, worked with a lot of musicians, worked with a lot of business owners. So we have stuff like comedy shows coming, and it's partnering with rock comedy. Rockamore does a comedy show, and he brings like B-list comedians and local comedians and some are national. So
Yeah.
I think that's enough best for us, because I mean, if we had somebody really famous, first of all, it'd be expensive. Then it would be we wouldn't have enough room. So we fit like 110 legally in the building. We have seating for up to 70, and for chairs and tables up to 70. But, we could still do that vibe where everybody doesn't have to be seated. We have the high top tables. You can stand around and enjoy something like that. So I said comedy shows and a murder mystery. We're planning that
would
with
be
a
fun.
group. Yes, it takes place in a jazz club, and the saxophonist gets murdered. And you got to figure out who did it. And you bring your friends with you, and you form teams. And, whichever team figures it out, they win, and there's different prizes. I've been part of those in Pittsburgh for the young lady that produces those, and she does a great job.
Yeah.
So she's been wanting to come here, and she's going to do a smaller scale one with not as many actors that she can do here. So that's something we're working on too. But then we have a lot of great events coming up. Yoga. Rachel Allen, she uses our space a lot for yoga and different things. She has something coming up that has to do with music and sound, and that's open to the public. So yeah, got a lot of stuff planned. We have festivals outside as soon as we get that parking lot. Somebody want to give me some money to pay that parking lot. That would be great, because then we can have food trucks in the parking lot, and it would be nice. And so yeah, whatever, the sky's the limit. There's a lot of things you could do here on a nice scale for the community. So I'm looking forward to it.
I like it. So since Nicholas is so interested in your music career, we're talking a little bit about musical events you got going on. If you just want to touch on that, you don't have to get into detail, or you can. Just a little bit of your history and, know, how that's turned you into the amazing event venue owner you are today.
And that is true, because hip hop has played a big role in my life. And girl, that is why I move the way I move, because of hip hop.
I love that.
So I came up with the whole like KRS-One, MC Light, Public Enemy, that era. I remember me and my girlfriend, we back in the day when we went to college, we met KRS-One, and he gave us all these flyers, him and his crew, and like we were trying to promote his concert, and we went anyway. Got the bug early with rapping back in the day, and started out as named Lady Fresh. So I got a record deal with a label called Valley View Records. I got the record deal because my cousin, she was in California, and she knew about this record company, and they were looking for artists. And I had just got my freshman year in college. My parents was like, what do you mean you're going to California? So I had to figure it out. So literally flying back and forth from California, my first freshman, sophomore year of Pitt, going to record music in Van Nuys, California.
So you were flying back and forth while you were still studying at Pitt?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
That's crazy.
Going to weekends. Woo, child, that was the first time I flew first class. I didn't know what to do. Limo pick you up. I was like, oh my God. You know, it was just absolutely amazing. In the lobby at music conferences, I'm like, that is Eazy-E. That's Ice Cube. You know, like, that's MC Hammer. So it was that era that I was in. And because my label was in California, I always saw a lot of California type of rappers. So then, you know, that was on a small label. So, you know, things don't, you know, always work out. But I had fun. Didn't have to spend my own money. Had a ball. Still kept doing. And I was always into media. Like you guys. Mm-hmm. I'm like, I got a degree. I can't get a job at the TV station. What's up?
Yeah.
You know, I can't get an internship. You know, I'm like, maybe I should have went for something else. You know, it was just a straight bachelor's in communications, mm-hmm. and then I got a master's in instructional technology. And I'm like, jeez, you know, and I was like, well, I just took a job somewhere that wasn't really in media mm-hmm. a long time ago. And then I started the Soul Pitt. And I started the Soul Pitt as a website. And I told you about how that got, and then we, you know.
Started printing it, yeah.
Yeah. So when I started the Soul Pitt during that time, I also still had that music, loved to write music. And I hooked up with two other people, a guy and a girl, and we started a group called Misfits in the Attic. We had a video on BET. We did tours. Oh, my God. It was so much fun.
So
had
cool.
a ball. My name was Mischievous in the group. And we had a song called Kick It Anyway. You guys can look that up. Just Google it. Misfits in the Attic, Kick It Anyway. You'll see a video. And so I got proof. I got receipts. And I had a ball. It was fun. And you know what? God must knew. I don't think I could have been like uber famous like that. I don't think I would have wanted that life. You know, but I had a ball. You know, and I had made some money.
Yeah.
And it influenced a lot of things that I do. So that's why the book I'll be working on, if I ever have time to get it out, you know, it talks about, you know, it's called Entrepreneur's Delight. Mm-hmm. And it talks about how, you know, old school hip hop business ideas for today. And I learned a lot of ways to move in business because of the ways that people moved in hip hop, especially back in the day when you had to do your own marketing, when when marketing was hard. It wasn't like it is now, you know. Mm-hmm. So you had to really be creative to get the word out about your music. So yeah. So if you see, I got the magazine Soul Pitt in my hand, and you see how small it is. Like mm-hmm. this was the size of Jet that you don't remember. Okay, Jet. Google Jet when we get done with this.
I will, and I'll be listening to Lady Fresh and Misfits in the Attic. Misfits in the Attic.
Yes,
on our way home. Yes.
Okay. So the magazine, I love it. It's usually about 112 pages, and it's full color, and it's free. When I tell you that we solely rely on advertising revenue, that is the case. Mm-hmm. We solely rely on that. So, you know, to advertise with a small minority magazine and podcast and website, you know, it's crucial to keep us around. So, you know, we definitely appreciate all the people that support us, from UPMC to Port Authority, Carnegie Science
Center. Those are big names.
Yes. And they've been supporting us for years, since we started this in 2010. So, and we have a lot of people that are freelance writers, and that's what I do. I give people their first shot because we couldn't get our first shot. Yeah. So you know what I do? I don't care if you've never written for anybody before. I give everybody their first shot.
Yeah, so they can at least try it. You can see if they're good or not, but also maybe they won't like it, and at least they get the opportunity to write something.
Yeah, and people have gone on to write for other publications and newspapers. For instance, like Ron Fisher, he's, you know, may rest in peace. He passed away, but he was one of the first writers the main writer from Johnstown mm-hmm. that wrote, and he ended up getting a job with the Tribune newspaper here, so the Trib. Wow. So, yeah, so.
Because it's something to have on your portfolio. You can
You
say I'm
need that.
published
Yeah,
in this
exactly.
magazine. Yeah.
You need that. So
So what kind of articles are in here? Because I know you said that Camille talks a little bit about fashion and stuff. That's what she writes
covers
about.
a lot of people that are fashion designers in the Western PA area and also kind of in Central. So she covers Harrisburg, York, Pittsburgh, just small towns around here that you would never know because these people aren't getting exposure. So, and we love to write stories, those undiscovered people, the people that are not always getting all the publicity all the time. So we really like that. So yeah, that's the type of stories in here. Feel good stories that you'll be surprised, like, wow, I didn't know someone was doing that. So
yeah, I love that. Can't wait to read it, and like I said, listen to some of your music on the way home too. So is there anything that people should be aware of before booking? And if they want to book with you, how should they get in contact with you?
You can just go online to our website, studio404.space, and there is a booking form on there. You just fill it out, put the dates that you want, give me some extra dates too, just in case that is not available. And I usually try to get back to people within 24 hours.
Okay.
So, and it's not that, I've made it very affordable. $50 is a non-refundable deposit, but $50 to hold your date. Okay, and you'll get that electronically. And then I just ask that the event is paid for within 2 weeks before your event. And it's only $40 an hour. And anything over 5 hours, we charge the full day rate of $400.
Okay.
So,
That's not bad, especially for a wedding reception.
Yeah.
That's cheap.
Yeah, we don't say cheap, child. Don't say cheap.
Inexpensive.
Affordable.
It's
Affordable, yes.
So chairs and tables and all that is included and stuff like that, up to 70 people. So, yeah, you can rent it. Just, I can't say treat it like your home. Just treat the building with respect.
Yeah.
And, when you come in here, it's already clean. It's beautiful. All you got to do is you bring a little bit of stuff to decorate, or whatever you want to do to make it extra fabulous. And then when you're done, clean up. Don't ask your guests to be respectful. Don't tear up the place. Things like that, and I'll work with everybody. So.
Yeah. All right, that sounds good. And then is there anyone that you'd like to shout out, or any of your sponsors, or anyone that you work with that you really appreciate them helping you out with Soul Pitt, your music, or the Studio 404?
The list would be long, and when you start saying names, but really people special that have worked with Studio 404 are Camille Taylor. She was one of the first people that I told about. I told no one that I was going to buy this building, and she was like, you can do it, and she really pumped me up, and she has been there ever since. So
she is really sweet, and she's a businesswoman.
Yes.
You can she knows what she's talking about.
Yes,
for sure.
she does. I love working with her. And I want to thank Jessica Clifford. She helped me out when we first got started, just getting the place together and helping with events. And she uses the place for her studio when she does portrait shootings here. So it works out. Deborah Marie, who's in the building, and she's been someone that has moved from Pittsburgh, and she's come here to actually help my cousin who lives upstairs in our apartment. But now she's found her own lane because she sees the opportunities in Johnstown, which I've always seen, and that there's a lot of stuff that's still needed here. And if you got that skill in bringing it here, a lot of people, support you. All you got to do is be professional. Be professional and know your trade and respect people. I think you'll go far here. People respect hardworking people in Johnstown, and that's what we do. So,
all right. Thank you so much, and it's been nice talking to you. And thank you for everyone for listening. I really enjoyed listening to your story. I hope the viewers and listeners feel the same way. And that's about it for this episode. Is there anything else that you wanted to add at the end? Any?
You know who I forgot to say? It's kind of funny. You'll probably laugh. Mr. David Porcher. Mr. David C. Porcher. That's my husband.
He's important.
He's very important.
He's been with you through thick and thin, I would say.
He is the co-owner.
Yeah.
However, he's not around as much because he's a truck driver.
Yeah.
So he's on the road. So he got on the road like almost right when we bought this. So I was like, he got on the road to get out of doing this.
He did his piece.
Yes.
It's all up to you.
But I love him, and I thank him so much for the support. And anytime you need some lights hung up in the rafters, he's your man. Because he hung those lights you see up in the background. So, yeah.
I love them. They're so cute.
So, thank you both of you.
Yeah,
So, I appreciate it.
Thank you, and that's the end.